Champions Cup Sunday games. All the teams have got zeros up against them because none of them have played yet. No wins, no draws, no losses. But the 3 games on the Sunday, that makes it Monday morning here in New Zealand, 2 a.m. for the first 2, and then 4:15 a.m. for the last one. But yeah, we'll see how we go with watching these games. The first one is Connacht, who are back in the Champions Cup, which is, I'm sure, a good feeling for those guys, although up against Montpellier, who were in the Champions Cup last year as well, didn't manage to get out of their pool, but a lot of big-name players in that squad. And speaking to a couple of you guys online and looking at the news about that Connacht squad, it seems like there's a fair few guys out, so it's going to be a tough job. But there's still been a couple of kind of good news stories about some of the guys who are back as well. So the guys who I read are out. There's no Quinn Rue, no Thornbury, there's no O'Brien, there's no Marmion, no Halloran. So there's a bunch of guys out. But the good news was that Aki is back and he's playing at number 12. Kyle Godwin's playing 13. Carly's playing 10. So there's still some classy guys there. Colbe Fainga's there. Delane's there. So I guess in the scheme of things, having as many guys out as there are, there's still a fair bit of talent in that squad to compete. You look at the Montpellier squad though, there's also a lot of kind of big name guys. Jan Surfontaine is playing, Cruden's playing, Paul Willems is there. Caleb Timu is playing. I haven't seen him play for Montpellier yet since he left Australia. Kamara's playing. They got the Duplessis brothers on the bench, so it's certainly not going to be an easy one. And on paper, anyway, it looks like it could be a pretty tight affair. Interestingly, the Rugby Forecast algorithm has got Connacht winning by 6 points, which I'm not sure how well that takes into account the injuries. The bookies, on the other hand, have got it almost at evens with maybe Connacht by half a point. So about as close as it gets on the bookmakers. So on paper anyway, this one is supposed to be pretty tight. I guess we'll see how things go. Given that Connacht are back in the Champions Cup, I might have to see if I can see this one somehow, even if it's on at 2 o'clock in the morning. I'm not sure I can get up at 2 o'clock with work the same day, but I'll have to think of something. So maybe watch a replay before I start work at like 5 o'clock in the morning or something. I don't know. We'll see. The next one is Northampton up against Lyon. Northampton, another team who are back in the Champions Cup, so that's kind of good news for them, and they've got a lot of their big names playing in this one as well. Lyon kind of flying high in the top 14 at the moment, but it's, as some of you guys have mentioned also, kind of hard to judge too much on that kind of form with so many players having been away at the Rugby World Cup for such a long time. We'll only kind of get a real feeling of where the teams are at as these guys start to return. So for the Saints, you got Francis and Hutchinson in the midfield, which is looking very good. Nair Avoro's out on that left wing, so he's going to be a handful for anyone trying to stop him. Reinach and Bigger are 9 and 10, so that's class. And then Laws is playing, Ludlam's playing, so there's certainly a lot of class in that Northampton side. Lyon, you got Tuisova, he's playing on the wing. Nato's playing 12. Fernandez is at 10. There's not a whole lot of French internationals from the World Cup squad that I can see. Barassi, the 13, is playing, so I guess he's there as well. My son is outside in the garden if you can hear anybody talking. That is him. I can't see Felix Lombe playing in that squad, not that he got selected for the World Cup, but I'm not sure if he's injured or not. Sometimes tracking down the French players is a bit tricky for an English speaker. I know Google Translate's good, but it's not always that good. Rugby Forecast for this one, interestingly, has got Northampton by 2 points, and the bookies have got Northampton by 8, so picking them by a fair bit more. Bear with me just a second. Just seeing what my son is up to outside. He is looking for worms in the garden, which is always a bit of fun. The last game should be kind of a titanic clash. That pool, which has got Racing 92, it's got Saracens, it's got Munster and Ospreys, is a very big pool. It's going to be hard to see who makes it out of that pool alive, but Racing are hosting Saracens in that one. It's going to be a very interesting game. That one's on at 4:15, so I might have to get up and watch that one. We will see. Do have work, but how often do you get to see these guys play? So. How Saracens off the field stuff kind of affects their game will be interesting. They've got a bunch of guys not playing. The Vunipola brothers aren't there. Farrell's not there, so it's kind of a much changed Saracens lineup. But there's still one Vunipola in the lineup. It's just Manu. He's at number 10. For Racing, you got Teddy Tomai, you got Vakatawa, you got Imhoff, you got Finn Russell, Machino, Camille Shad, Gomez Saz there, Palu's there, Shuzanu's there. So there's a bunch of kind of top gun players all there in that lineup. Like I mentioned, Manu Vunipola is playing 10 for Saracens. Spencer's at 9. Reece Carey is at loose head, so that's a guy who's had a bunch of World Cup experience just recently. Lamo Satelli's there, Skelton, Ezekwe. So it's not a Willemse on the bench. It's not a walkover Saracen side for sure, but it's not their strongest side either, one would think. So it's going to be a tough job for them. Interestingly, Rugby Forecast got Saracens by 1 point, which may be, again, taking into account a fair bit of the results from last week, as my son is finding worms. And, the bookies have got Racing by 9, which may indeed take into a bit more account that home advantage and the fact that they seem to, on paper, have a fair few of the big guns back compared to Saracens. But, you guys let me know your thoughts on these games. How do you think they're going to go? And, I'll talk to you soon. See you later.